Imagine this. You walk into a room and the energy shifts, not because you did anything wrong, but because someone decided they don't respect you. They cut you off mid-sentence. They roll their eyes, they dismiss your ideas as if they're worthless. And in that moment, you feel it. That sting, that burn, that question rising inside of you. Why do they treat me this way? Now here's the truth most people don't want to face. Disrespect isn't about them liking you or not liking you. It's about how you allow them to treat you. And the hardest pill to swallow is this. You train people every single day on how to deal with you. Whether you realize it or not, you're teaching them with your silence, your reactions, your body language, and your presence. So ask yourself, what kind of training are you giving the world? Are you showing people you're someone to walk over or someone they can't afford to ignore? Because here's the reality. No matter who you are, no matter what you've achieved, you will face people who won't respect you. It could be at work, in your own family, even among friends. Some will try to test you, some will try to belittle you, and others simply won't value you the way you deserve. But here's the good news. You don't need their respect to stand tall. You don't need their approval to walk with dignity. You need to know how to handle it, how to shift the power back into your hands, and how to make sure that disrespect doesn't touch who you are at your core. Today, I'm going to break down 5 powerful ways to handle people who don't respect you. These aren't tricks, these aren't games, these are strategies that change how people see you, how they treat you, and most importantly, how you see yourself. Because once you understand them, disrespect no longer has the power to control your emotions, your confidence, or your future. Now let me ask you, are you ready to stop letting other people define your worth? Are you ready to shift from being disrespected to being respected without ever lowering yourself to their level? If you are, then lean in, because what I'm about to share with you will change the way you deal with people forever. Respect is not something you beg for. It's not something you plead for. And it's not something you wait around hoping someone will hand you. Respect is something you set as a standard in your life. People will always test you. They will push boundaries. They will throw little comments your way. They will make jokes at your expense. And they will see how you respond. If you let it slide, you just taught them that it's acceptable. If you laugh it off even though it hurts, you just trained them that your feelings don't matter. If you allow it once, they'll do it twice. And before you know it, that behavior becomes the norm. The way people treat you is often a reflection of what you allow. And this is where many people get it wrong. They think respect comes from titles, positions, money, or status. But that's not true. You can have none of those things and still command deep respect from everyone around you. Why? Because respect starts with how you respect yourself, and then how you set the tone for others. When you walk into a room with your head down, apologizing for your presence, you tell the world you're not sure if you belong there. When you avoid speaking up because you don't want to upset anyone, you tell people that your voice isn't important. But when you carry yourself with quiet confidence, when you speak with clarity, when you set boundaries and stand on them, people know immediately they can't play with you. Think about it. Every relationship you have, whether with friends, family, coworkers, or strangers, is constantly being shaped by the standards you allow. If someone talks to you in a disrespectful tone and you stay silent, you've just given them permission. If someone constantly interrupts you and you never stop them, you've just told them your words aren't worth listening to. If someone disrespects your time and you keep showing up, you've taught them that you don't value your own time. But when you calmly and firmly address it, when you let people know what is and is not acceptable, you start to set the standard. And people either rise to meet it, or they remove themselves from your life. And either way, you win. The problem is, too many people are afraid of confrontation. They think standing up for themselves will make them look rude, difficult, or unkind. But setting standards is not about being rude. It's about being clear. You can be respectful and firm at the same time. You can say, I don't appreciate being spoken to like that, without raising your voice. You can say, I won't be able to continue this conversation if it continues this way, without anger. That's not weakness. That's strength. Because strength is not in how loud you can shout. It's in how steady you can remain when your boundaries are tested. When you set standards, something powerful happens. You stop attracting people who thrive on disrespect. You filter them out. People who can't respect you either change their behavior or they leave. And yes, sometimes that means losing people you thought were close to you. But losing someone who doesn't respect you is not a loss. It's freedom. It's making room for the kind of relationships you truly deserve. Here's another truth. People respect consistency. You can't set a standard one day and then abandon it the next because it's uncomfortable. If you say you won't tolerate something, you must follow through every single time. Consistency builds credibility. Inconsistency tells people you don't really mean what you say. Imagine a parent who says, if you do this again, you'll be punished, but then never follows through. The child learns quickly. The parent doesn't really mean it. The same is true with adults. If you tell someone not to speak to you in a certain way, but keep allowing it, you've already set a new standard, that your words carry no weight. But when your standards are consistent, people adjust. They know where the line is. They know how far they can go. They know that with you, there's no gray area. That's when respect is built. Not because you demanded it, but because you commanded it by how you live, by how you carry yourself, by how you refuse to shrink for anyone. The moment you raise your standards, some people will test you even harder. They'll push back, they'll try to guilt you, they'll say you've changed, or you're too sensitive, or you're overreacting. But here's the truth, they're not uncomfortable because you changed. They're uncomfortable because they can no longer control you the way they used to. When you stop allowing disrespect, people who benefited from your silence will always complain. Don't mistake their discomfort for your mistake. That's just the sound of boundaries being enforced. Setting the standard also means holding yourself to the same level you expect from others. If you expect honesty, be honest. If you expect respect, show respect. If you want people to value your time, value theirs. Hypocrisy destroys credibility, but integrity commands respect without a word. When people see you live out the same standards you expect from them, they recognize your authenticity. And authenticity is magnetic. It draws in the right people and silently pushes out the wrong ones. So here's the bottom line. If you want respect, you must first set the standard for it. You can't hope people will give it to you. You can't wait for it to happen. You must define what respect looks like in your life. Communicate it through your actions and uphold it consistently. Don't tolerate what diminishes you. Don't excuse what disrespects you. And don't stay silent when your dignity is on the line. The world will treat you according to the rules you set. If your rules are weak, your respect will be weak. If your rules are strong, your respect will be strong. Never forget, you are the one teaching people how to treat you. So teach them well. Show them through your actions, through your boundaries, through your energy, that you are not someone to be dismissed, belittled, or disrespected. You are someone to be taken seriously. You are someone whose presence carries weight. You are someone whose standards are non-negotiable. Because at the end of the day, respect doesn't start with them. It starts with you. When someone disrespects you, your first instinct is often to react. Maybe you want to snap back with a sharp comment. Maybe you want to raise your voice. Maybe you feel your chest tighten and your heart race. And you want to let them know immediately that what they said or did is unacceptable. That reaction is natural. It's human. But here's where the trap lies. When you react emotionally, you hand them your power. You give them control over your energy. And once they know they can shake you, they'll keep doing it. Think about it. People who disrespect you aren't always doing it by accident. Sometimes it's deliberate. Sometimes they want to provoke you, push your buttons, and get you to explode. Because the moment you lose control, you lose credibility. They can then turn around and say, see, you're too emotional. Or look how you overreacted. They will use your own reaction against you. This is why one of the most powerful skills you can develop is emotional control. Emotional control doesn't mean you're passive. It doesn't mean you let people walk all over you. It means you choose how you respond instead of letting your emotions choose for you. It means you take a pause before you speak. It means you stay calm when others expect you to erupt. That calmness, that's power. That's strength. Because the person who can't be rattled is the person others eventually respect. Have you ever noticed how some of the most commanding people in a room rarely raise their voice? They don't have to. Their presence speaks louder than words. When someone tries to provoke them and they don't budge, it sends a clear message. You don't control me. I control me. That's the kind of power you need to cultivate if you want to handle disrespect without losing yourself. Imagine someone insults you in front of others. If you explode with anger, you confirm their narrative. If you cry or retreat, you hand them the victory. But if you hold steady, look them in the eye, and respond with measured words or sometimes no words at all, you shift the entire dynamic. Suddenly the spotlight is not on your outburst, but on their disrespect. People watching will see who lost control, and it won't be you. This is not easy. It takes practice, because our emotions are powerful and they demand to be expressed. But here's the truth, not every emotion deserves an audience. Sometimes silence is the loudest response. Sometimes a calm, steady tone carries more weight than 100 angry words. When you learn to master your emotional state, you stop being reactive and start being strategic. And strategy always wins over impulse. Let's be honest, most people lose respect, not because they're wrong, but because they can't control how they handle being wronged. They let anger speak for them. They let pain turn into weakness. They let disrespect trigger them into actions they later regret. But if you learn to pause, to breathe, and to choose your response, you win every single time. The disrespect may still come, but it won't define you. There's also another side to this. When you don't react emotionally, you protect your energy. Disrespect is draining if you let it consume you. You replay the words in your head, you feel the anger days later, you let it disturb your peace. But when you don't give that disrespect your emotional energy, it dies right where it started. It doesn't live inside of you, rent-free. You keep your peace intact, and that peace is priceless. Think about athletes. The best competitors in the world don't win because they're never challenged. They win because they know how to stay calm under pressure. They know how to think clearly when others panic. They know that if they let emotions take over, they'll lose focus. Life is no different. Every time someone disrespects you, it's like a test. Can you stay focused? Can you stay grounded? Can you hold your energy when someone tries to knock you off balance? Here's a truth most people miss. When you control your emotions, you actually control the other person too. If they can't get a rise out of you, they lose their grip. They get frustrated. They realize you're not like everyone else. They can provoke. And eventually they stop trying. But when you're quick to react, you teach them that you're easy to manipulate. And manipulation thrives where there is no self-control. Now let's be clear. Emotional control doesn't mean you never express how you feel. It means you express it in the right way, at the right time with the right tone. If someone disrespects you, you can still call it out. But do it when you're calm. Do it when your words are sharp, because they're intentional, not because they're fueled by rage. That's when your message lands. That's when people take you seriously. You see, respect is not only about what you demand from others, it's also about what you demonstrate. If you show that you can't control your own emotions, people will see you as unstable, unpredictable, and weak. But if you show that you're composed even under fire, people start to respect your discipline. They see you as someone who doesn't break easily. And in this world, that kind of self-mastery is rare. So, the next time someone disrespects you, pay attention to what's happening inside of you. Feel the heat rising, the urge to snap, the tension in your chest. And then remind yourself, this is my test. This is my moment to either give away my power or keep it. Take a breath, pause, then decide, how do I want to respond? Do I want to let this person write the story of my emotions, or do I want to write it myself? When you master this skill, you not only earn respect from others, you earn respect from yourself. You walk away from situations proud of how you handled them, not ashamed of how you lost control. And that pride builds confidence. That confidence builds presence, and that presence builds respect. Because at the end of the day, anyone can shout, anyone can lash out, anyone can lose control. But it takes real strength to stay calm when disrespected. It takes real power to choose peace over chaos. And it takes a person who knows their worth to say, you don't get to dictate my energy. I do. That's how you win. That's how you turn disrespect into nothing more than background noise. And that's how you build a life where your energy, your emotions, and your respect are always in your hands, never in theirs. Boundaries are not walls meant to keep people out. They are lines that define where you end and where others begin. They are a declaration of what you will and will not accept in your life. And here's the truth. Without boundaries, you cannot have people who don't respect you will always test how far they can go. If you never draw a line, they will keep pushing, keep taking, and keep crossing into places they don't belong. Boundaries are not about being harsh or unkind. They are about protecting your dignity, your time, your energy, and your peace of mind. Too often, people hesitate to enforce boundaries because they don't want to come across as rude, selfish, or difficult. They think saying no will hurt someone's feelings. They think standing firm will make them seem cold. But here's what you need to understand. Every time you fail to enforce a boundary, you hurt yourself. You sacrifice your own well-being to keep someone else comfortable. And what happens? They get comfortable disrespecting you. They learn they can talk to you any way they want, take your time for granted, and treat your kindness as weakness. Boundaries are not selfish, they are necessary. Without them, respect cannot exist. Think about your own life. How many times have you said yes when you really wanted to say no? How many times have you laughed off a comment that cut you deep? How many times have you let someone overstep, hoping they would eventually realize they went too far? The problem is, people don't realize unless you tell them. Silence communicates acceptance. The more you tolerate, the more they will test. The only way to stop the cycle is to enforce boundaries clearly and unapologetically. Let's say someone speaks to you in a disrespectful tone. Instead of pretending it didn't bother you, address it calmly, but firmly. I don't appreciate being spoken to like that. If it happens again, I won't continue this conversation. Notice what's happening here. You are not begging them to change. You are not yelling or losing control. You are simply stating your standard and the consequence if it's not respected. That's how boundaries work. They don't require endless explanations or defenses. They require clarity, firmness, and follow through. Some people will test you even after you set a boundary. They'll try to see if you really mean it. This is where most people break. They set the rule, but fail to enforce it. And once that happens, the rule is worthless. A boundary without consequence is just a suggestion. If you say you won't tolerate something, then tolerate it. You've just taught them that your words carry no weight. But when you enforce the consequence, when you walk away, when you end the conversation, when you remove yourself from situations that cross your line, you send a powerful message. I take myself seriously, and you should too. Enforcing boundaries doesn't always mean confrontation. Sometimes it's about limiting access. If someone constantly disrespects you, maybe you stop answering their calls right away. Maybe you see them less often. Maybe you keep conversations short and to the point. You don't owe everyone unlimited access to your time and energy. Protecting yourself from toxic behavior isn't cruelty, it's wisdom. It's saying, my peace matters too much to let you disturb it whenever you want. You'll notice something interesting when you start enforcing boundaries. The people who truly respect you will adjust, and the people who don't will either get angry or fall away. That's the beauty of boundaries. They act as a filter. They filter out those who are not meant to stay in your life. Yes, it may hurt to see people leave. Yes, some will call you difficult, changed, or too much. But pay attention to who says those things. It's usually the ones who benefited from your lack of boundaries in the first place. The ones who respected you all along. They'll stay, they'll adapt. Because respect can handle boundaries. Only manipulation resists them. Now, Here's something important. Never apologize for enforcing your boundaries. You don't need to explain to someone why you value your time, why you won't accept disrespect, or why you protect your energy. That's not up for debate. Boundaries are not requests. They are non-negotiables. The moment you start apologizing, you weaken your position. You don't need to justify your worth to anyone. Your boundaries exist because you matter, and anyone who can't understand that is not meant to have close access to you. Setting boundaries also requires self-awareness. You must know your limits before you can communicate them. Ask yourself, what drains me? What behaviors make me feel small? What situations leave me feeling disrespected? Once you know, you can draw the line. The clearer you are with yourself, the clearer you will be with others. Vague boundaries invite confusion. Clear boundaries create respect. Here's the bottom line. If you want people to respect you, you must stop being afraid of disappointing them. You must be willing to let people walk away rather than betray yourself. Respect is not earned by pleasing everyone. It's earned by standing firm, even when it costs you relationships. And here's the truth, the right people won't walk away. The ones who belong in your life will respect you even more for having the courage to draw the line. So stop apologizing for protecting your space. Stop softening your boundaries to make others comfortable. Stop sacrificing your dignity just to keep the peace. Because the moment you do, you're not keeping peace. You're creating silent chaos inside yourself. And that inner chaos will eat away at your confidence, your self-worth, and your ability to stand tall. The boundaries are not about pushing people away. They're about keeping the right people close. They're about creating a life where respect is the foundation of every relationship. They're about teaching people that you value yourself. And if they want a place in your world, they must value you too. So enforce your boundaries without apology. Stand tall when they're tested. Follow through when they're crossed. And never forget, your boundaries are not up for negotiation. They are a reflection of how much you respect yourself. And the way you respect yourself sets the standard for how the world will respect you. One of the hardest lessons to learn in life is this. Not everyone is going to respect you. Not everyone is going to value you. Not everyone is going to appreciate who you are, what you do, or what you stand for. And that's okay. The problem is, too many people waste their energy chasing approval, trying to convince others to treat them better, begging for recognition that never comes. They stay in relationships where they are disrespected. They stay in jobs where their worth is ignored. They keep trying to earn the respect of people who are never going to give it. And in doing so, they lose respect for themselves. Detachment is power. The moment you stop needing someone else's approval, you take back control of your life. Because here's the truth, the more you depend on others to validate you, the more power they hold over you. Every time you seek their acknowledgement, every time you bend yourself to fit their expectations, every time you compromise your dignity just to keep their attention, you are telling them, I need you more than I need me. And once you give away that power, it's very hard to get it back. Walking away doesn't mean you're weak. Walking away doesn't mean you're bitter or resentful. Walking away means you have finally understood that your worth is not tied to whether someone else sees it. It means you value yourself enough to say, if you cannot respect me, you do not deserve access to me. That's strength, that's confidence, that's self-respect in action. Think about how much energy people waste trying to change the minds of those who have already made a decision about them. You could spend months, even years, trying to prove yourself to someone who simply refuses to see your value. And during all that time, you're pouring energy into a bottomless pit. You're giving them your time, your focus, your peace, and getting nothing in return. That energy could have been used to build yourself, to grow, to invest in people who actually respect you. But instead, it gets lost because you were too afraid to detach. Detachment doesn't mean you don't care about people. It means you care about yourself enough not to beg for scraps of respect. It means you understand that real respect cannot be forced and that begging for it only lowers your own value. Respect that is genuine comes freely. If someone has to be convinced to respect you, then it isn't real respect. It's compliance. And compliance won't last. Walking away also teaches people something powerful. It shows them that you're not desperate for their validation. It shows them that you're willing to protect your dignity, even at the cost of their presence. And ironically, when you stop chasing respect, sometimes people start giving it to you. They realize you can't be controlled. They realize they can't manipulate you. They realize your self-worth doesn't depend on them. And that shift often forces them to see you in a new light. But here's the key. You don't walk away as a tactic to gain respect. You walk away because you already respect yourself. You walk away because you understand that your peace, your energy, and your dignity are too valuable to waste in places where they are not honored. Whether they change their behavior or not is irrelevant. The victory is that you didn't lower your standard just to keep them around. Some people will never respect you no matter what you do. And you know what? That's not your problem. That's theirs. Maybe they're threatened by you. Maybe they're insecure. Maybe they're simply incapable of seeing your value. Whatever the reason, it's not your job to fix them. It's your job to protect yourself. And sometimes the greatest protection is distance. Yes, walking away is hard, especially when it's from people you care about. Especially when it's family, longtime friends, or a boss who holds power over your career. But ask yourself, what's the cost of staying? What are you sacrificing every time you allow yourself to be disrespected? Your confidence, your peace, your mental health. Those things are priceless. And the longer you stay in places where you're not respected, the more of yourself you lose. Walking away doesn't always mean cutting someone off completely. Sometimes it means pulling back your energy. Sometimes it means creating space, seeing them less, or engaging with them on your terms, not theirs. Sometimes it means shifting your expectations so you no longer feel disappointment when they act the way they always do. The point is, you stop tying your sense of self-worth to their behavior. You detach. You release the need for their approval. Detachment is freedom. Freedom from constantly wondering, do they like me? Do they value me? Do they approve of me? Freedom from bending yourself into shapes that don't fit just to be accepted. Freedom from the anxiety of trying to please people who are never satisfied. Once you detach, you reclaim your time, your energy, and your focus. And you start pouring it back into yourself, into the people who truly value you, and into the goals that actually matter. Here's something important to remember. Walking away is not rejection, it's redirection. When you walk away from disrespect, you're not losing. You're making space. You're opening the door for people who actually see you, value you, and respect you. The ones who were meant to be in your life won't require begging. They won't need convincing. They will respect you because that's who they are. And you'll never have to compromise your dignity to keep them. So stop chasing people who don't respect you. Stop wasting energy trying to win over hearts that are close to you. Stop sacrificing yourself just to sit at a table where you're not valued. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is enough, and then get up and leave. Because at the end of the day, respect is not about how many people approve of you. It's about how much you approve of yourself. And when you respect yourself enough to walk away, you never truly lose. You only gain peace, strength, and the freedom to live your life on your terms, not theirs. Respect begins long before someone else gives it to you. It begins with you. The truth is, people treat you based on the cues you give them. If you move through the world doubting yourself, speaking timidly, second-guessing your decisions, and constantly apologizing for your existence, others will mirror that energy. They will treat you as if you are uncertain, small, or insignificant. But if you stand tall, speak with confidence, and carry yourself with self-assurance, even before anyone validates you, people begin to notice. They respond to the authority you project. That authority doesn't come from titles, money, or status. It comes from within. It's inner authority, and it's the foundation of true respect. Inner authority is not arrogance. It's not walking around acting superior to others. It's not trying to control or intimidate people. That's not real respect. That's fear, and fear always fades. Inner authority is different. It's a quiet strength. It's the energy you carry when you respect yourself so deeply that no one else's opinion can shake you. It's walking into a room with calm certainty that you belong there, even if nobody acknowledges you. It's speaking your truth without hesitation because you know your voice has value. When you build this kind of authority, you don't chase respect, you command it. But here's the challenge. So many people struggle with inner authority because they don't respect themselves. They look in the mirror and see only flaws. They downplay their achievements. They apologize for things that don't even need an apology. They constantly compare themselves to others and come up short in their own minds. And when you carry that energy, people pick up on it. They sense your insecurity, and some will even use it against you. Disrespect often feeds on a lack of self-respect. If you don't believe in your own worth, why should anyone else? Building inner authority starts with the relationship you have with yourself. Do you keep promises to yourself? Do you follow through on your word? Do you treat yourself with the same dignity you expect from others? Think about it. If you constantly break your own commitments, if you don't value your time, if you neglect your well-being, you are showing yourself disrespect. And when you disrespect yourself, it becomes easier for others to do the same. But when you take care of yourself, when you discipline yourself, when you hold yourself accountable, you begin to build trust with yourself. That trust grows into confidence. That confidence turns into presence, and that presence radiates authority. People notice details. They notice how you walk, how you speak, how you carry yourself. If you're slouched, hesitant, unsure, they sense it. But if you stand upright, if your words are steady, if your energy is composed, they sense that too. Authority is not in the loudness of your voice, but in the steadiness of your spirit. Some of the most respected people in the world don't need to say much. They don't need to prove anything. They have an aura of certainty that makes people listen when they finally speak. That's the power of inner authority. You build it not only by how you see yourself, but also by how you treat yourself. Do you invest in your growth? Do you read, learn, and expand your mind? Do you take care of your body? Do you rest when needed? Do you remove yourself from toxic environments? These choices may seem small, but they build a foundation of self-respect. And once that foundation is strong, others cannot help but respond to it. Think about someone who constantly accepts less than they deserve. Maybe they stay in a relationship where they are mistreated. Maybe they accept a job that undervalues their skills. Maybe they surround themselves with friends who drain them instead of uplifting them. What message are they sending? They are telling the world, I don't believe I deserve better, and the world simply reflects that back to them. But when you build inner authority, you flip the script. You say, I know my worth, and I refuse to settle for less. And once you start living that way, opportunities and relationships that don't align with your value naturally fall away. Inner authority also requires silence, the ability to not defend or explain yourself unnecessarily. When you truly respect yourself, you don't need to justify every choice you make. You don't need to prove your worth to those who don't see it. You don't need to convince anyone of your value. Your actions, your presence, and your consistency speak louder than any defense ever could. This silence is not weakness, it's confidence. Only someone who doubts themselves feels the need to constantly explain. Someone with inner authority understands that not everyone will understand them, and that's fine. Their worth isn't up for negotiation. Another element of inner authority is emotional discipline. People who respect themselves don't allow their emotions to control them. They don't let anger make decisions for them. They don't let fear keep them from moving forward. They feel their emotions, but they don't bow to them. This discipline creates stability, and stability commands respect. Nobody respects someone who crumbles at the first sign of challenge, but everyone respects someone who remains grounded, even when storms hit. Building inner authority takes time. It requires daily choices. It requires you to look in the mirror and say, I will not betray myself today. It requires you to show up for yourself, even when no one else does. It requires you to respect your own standards, your own time, your own energy, and your own potential. Because once you respect yourself fully, you will never beg for respect again. You will never tolerate consistent disrespect again. You will never lower your standards just to fit in again. And here's the beautiful thing: when you build inner authority, you don't need to chase respect. It comes to you naturally. People can feel it. They sense your strength, your confidence, your certainty. They may not even understand why, but they know they can't treat you carelessly. They know you won't accept it. And the few who still try, they quickly realize that you're not someone to play with. At the core, respect is energy. It's how you treat yourself reflected back at you. If you radiate insecurity, you attract disrespect. If you radiate self-respect, you attract respect. The world mirrors what you believe about yourself. That's why inner authority is the most important step. Because once you have it, no amount of disrespect from others can shake your foundation. So stop waiting for others to give you respect. Stop chasing validation from people who may never see your value. Start with you. Respect yourself deeply. Respect yourself daily. Build that inner authority that says, without a word, I know who I am, I know what I deserve, and I will never settle for less. And once you do, the world has no choice but to follow your lead. Respect is not something you chase, it's something you create. Throughout this entire journey, we've uncovered 5 powerful truths. You must set the standard and teach people how to treat you. You must control your energy and not react emotionally. You must enforce your boundaries without apology. You must detach from their approval and walk away when needed. And above all, you must build inner authority by respecting yourself first. When you live by these principles, you stop begging for respect and start commanding it. You stop letting people dictate your value and start showing them your worth through your actions, your presence, and your discipline. The disrespect of others will no longer shake you because you'll know who you are and you'll stand firmly on that truth. The world will always test you. People will push, challenge, and sometimes even try to diminish you. But your response determines whether you stay small or rise in strength. Every time you set a boundary, every time you stay calm instead of exploding, every time you choose to walk away from disrespect, every time you put your own self-respect first, you build a life where you are unshakable. So here's the message I want you to carry. You don't have to demand respect loudly. You need to embody it quietly. When you respect yourself, you teach others exactly how to respect you. And when you build that kind of strength within, no one, not a boss, not a friend, not a stranger, can strip it away. Respect begins and ends with you. And when you own that truth, you stop living at the mercy of how people treat you, and you start living as the authority of your own life. Stand tall, speak with conviction, protect your energy, and most of all, respect yourself so deeply that the world has no choice but to follow.